What's up everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's begin with Conor McGregor sends a warning to Sean O'Malley. UFC bantamweight champion Sean O'Malley managed to catch a few stray bullets this week when former two-weight world champion Conor McGregor lashed out at boxer Ryan Garcia over his failed drug test. Garcia tested positive for Ostarine, a banned performance-enhancing substance, both before and after his fight with WBC super lightweight champion Devin Haney in Brooklyn on April 20th. O'Malley had previously also tested positive for Ostarine, but USADA ultimately ruled that the amount found in his system likely came from a contaminated substance. In a since-deleted post on X, McGregor took aim at both Garcia and O'Malley, as he tweeted, "Cheated the weight and was juiced. Lifetime ban. Sad to see, sad to say, sad and a bit sick. Don't come near me if I see you ever, Ryan Garcia. I'm actually disgusted. This Ostarine reminds me of Sean O'Malley was on that as well. I don't like this. I'll bust yous both up. Do yous want to spar? I will set flights right now for you both for a full-on spar each." Fans were quick to reply to the notorious. Conor running his mouth. He knows Sean would absolutely smoke him if they could fight at the same weight. Maybe you don't know yet, but Conor is so irrelevant that nobody cares what he says anymore. Maybe if Chandler said this, we might take him a little bit more seriously, not Conor. And Ryan Garcia snapped back at the Irishman as he tweeted, "If I see Conor McGregor, I'm gonna break your weak ankle. You ran from being tested because you were on roids, Roadhouse or Roid Rage. Fudge Conor, caca brain." The boxer also posted a video in which he called out McGregor's former training partner Dylan Dennis alongside the Notorious.
"Hey Dylan Dennis, you can suck a little one. Alright? How about that? Nobody likes you, bro. You know you Conor McGregor's best friend. That's even scarier. I heard about you, bro. With girls, you should be in jail. Dylan Dennis is a weirdo. And Conor McGregor. Both weirdos. And let's fight, bro. I'll fight you in the street. Think I care? I'll beat your ass in the street. Bro, you got choked out by a security guard. You're supposed to be one of the best jiu-jitsu. Hope you in Vegas too. I'm gonna beat you when I see you, bro. I want to smoke with everybody. And bring your friend Conor too. I'll smoke him too. What? Oh! I'll put him to sleep. I bet y'all felt that power through the screen. I will knock Conor McGregor out bad. Bad. You think Floyd did him bad? And I'll let him weigh whatever he wants. And I'll let him take steroids. And I'll still show you what I could do to Conor McGregor.
Moving to the lightweight title conversation now, Charles Oliveira predicts Islam Makhachev fight. Former UFC lightweight champion Charles Oliveira will be an interested spectator when the 155-pound title between Islam Makhachev and Dustin Poirier takes place at UFC 302 in Newark, New Jersey in just a few weeks. Du Bronx has been in the octagon with Makhachev and Poirier, and speaking this week in an interview with L'Archeviana, he gave his prediction how he thinks the fight will play out. Dustin Poirier is a tough guy, but on the other hand, he's facing a guy who plays the game with everyone, which is to take down. Anything could happen, but I think Makhachev is not dumb. He won't trade against Poirier and will want to take him down. I think it's Poirier's weak point of being taken down, and I think Islam continues with the title. In the lead up to UFC 302, Poirier opened up about his mental struggles going into this fight when he appeared on the Fight Bananas podcast.
I was just down on myself, but like focusing on my mindset, talking to people, having my wife by my side, having good friends back home. I went to counseling weekly. I just started working on myself, because we focus so much on the physical part of this, but fighting is so mental, and fighting is just a portion of our life. We have a whole nother life after fighting and outside of fighting. So even coming to this fight here, June 1st, I'm trying not to put so much. Of course, I want to be the world champion, but nothing's guaranteed. I do feel, honestly, looking at you guys here, I'm going to be the world champion in a month.
Next up, Jamahal Hill sends a message to Alex Pereira. The light heavyweight title fight between Alex Pereira and former title holder Jamahal Hill in the main event of UFC 300 last month couldn't have been more conclusive. Poatan knocked out Hill in the opening round to defend his title and racked up his fifth victory over former UFC champions in just 8 appearances inside the octagon. Hill had just returned from a prolonged period on the sidelines after tearing his Achilles tendon, and many experts had questioned whether he may have been rushing back a little prematurely. Despite the setback, Sweet Dreams doesn't intend on taking any further time off and convinced the powers that be to put him straight back into the action as soon as the dust had settled after UFC 300. He now finds himself matched with Khalil Roundtree Jr. on the undercard of the Conor McGregor-Michael Chandler fight at UFC 303 during International Fight Week in late June. A new opponent lined up, it seems, but Hill's crosshairs remain firmly fixed on Alex Pereira. He told Inside Fighting Podcast this week that he's intent on working his way back to a rematch with the Brazilian and believes if he gets that opportunity, he will dominate the fight.
Obviously, we would have wanted to get into it a little bit more and things like that, but it is what it is. I have every intention on fighting Alex again. I don't care about the belt at this point. It's about getting back to that fight so I can show what it really is.
Why is that so important to you? And why is the
mentality? Just because of how it ended, just because of how it went. And I feel that running it back, I definitely dominate that fight.
Alex Pereira seems to have his sights set elsewhere. The former two-weight Glory kickboxing champion has been teasing fans about possibly making a run at heavyweight, although he has also been discussing the merits of more realistic challengers at 205 pounds, such as Magomed Ankalaev and Yuri Prohaska. After losing in such a devastating fashion, it looks like Hill will have his hands cut out, climbing his way back toward the title again anytime soon. Also this week, Robert Whittaker sends a message to Khamzat Chimaev. Former UFC middleweight champion Robert Whittaker is feeling confident in his skill set going into his fight with Khamzat Chimaev when the UFC visits Saudi Arabia next month. The bout is a significant one at 185 pounds, with the winner likely to enter the title discussion. Whittaker comes into this fight hot off the heels of an impressive decision win over Paulo Costa at UFC 298 in February, and long-term will surely be looking to get back to the top of the division he once ruled. Chimaev has been unstoppable in the octagon so far, 7 wins in 7 fights, and a string of dominant wrestling-heavy performances against the likes of Rhys McKee, Jingliang Li, and Kevin Holland at welterweight have marked him out as a future title contender in many fans' eyes, although his struggles in making the 170-pound limit mean he now finds himself entrenched in the middleweight division going forward. In an interview with ESPN, Whittaker explained how he believes he has the right tools to get the job done against Chimaev.
I bring an arsenal of skill sets that he's not ready for, I believe. And I think the surest way to victory is to go in there, obviously not play to his strengths, which is not engaging in the wrestle, but not be afraid of it. I can wrestle with the best of them, and I've shown and proved that. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to fight my fight. I'm going to fight a stand-up fight. I'm going to see where it goes. I'm going to drag it out. It's a 5-round fight. I've been in plenty of those and I've got no quit in me. So let's see how this goes.
Chimaev's debut in the middleweight division came in his last bout at UFC 294 in October. He was originally booked to face Paulo Costa, but the Brazilian fell out due to injury, and Chimaev instead fought former welterweight champion Kamaru Usman. He managed to win by decision, but his performance certainly fell below the standard fans had become accustomed to during his welterweight run. There's certainly a lot of question marks hanging over both fighters going into this one. Next up, Jon Jones wants Alex Pereira next. UFC heavyweight champion Jon Jones has been sidelined since October when he tore his pectoral tendon just 2 weeks before he was due to defend his belt against former champion Stipe Miocic at UFC 295 in Madison Square Garden. With the title fight eliminated from that card, contenders Tom Aspinall and Sergey Pavlovich stepped up at short notice to fight for the interim belt. Aspinall knocked out Pavlovich in spectacular fashion and immediately set about chasing a unification fight with Jones. Both Jones and the UFC made it clear that the plan remains to fight Miocic once Jones returns from injury later this year, and Aspinall looks likely now to defend his interim belt at UFC 304 in Manchester this summer. In a series of posts on X this week, Jones has seemingly thrown another name into the heavyweight title discussion, that of two-weight UFC champion Alex Pereira. He began by asking, "Who would you guys want me to see me fight the most, Alex or Tom?" He explained his thought process further as he tweeted, "If Alex P became champion of the heavyweight division, would you guys consider him the GOAT? Being back in the gym has got me thinking differently. That fight after Stipe may be the next biggest move I could possibly make. This killer has already defeated so many champions and is already considered a legend to millions around the world. The most massive fight the UFC could make. Give Alex a chance to avenge all those great Brazilian champions I've defeated." In a series of follow-up posts, Jones appeared to be trying to convince the fan base that Pereira would be his preferred choice. Aspinall responded by simply posting a picture of Bones looking bemused. Former UFC fighter and analyst Kenny Florian shared his thoughts on the debate. "From a business perspective, I reckon Bones versus Alex Pereira is one of the biggest fights that can be made, especially when you attach a belt to the fight, even BMF. Bigger than Stipe and bigger than Aspinall. What should happen and what will happen are two different things." Alex Pereira was asked about it while speaking with media during the lead up to UFC 301 in Rio and had this to say, "I just want to fight. If the UFC wants to tell me, hey, this is the path for you to get that fight at heavyweight, so I can change my plans, that works. But if I don't have anything, I prefer not to stray away from what we've decided. To be thinking about things and not have them come to fruition would be just draining for me and the fans. That's definitely a fight I would love to do. For me to move up to heavyweight, I need some time. Ian Garry calls out Colby Covington for rejecting his fight offer. Ian Garry is still claiming that Colby Covington is scared to fight him and is continuing to run from him. Here's what Ian had to say to Colby.
Well, obviously what people want to know, are you getting a fight for UFC 303? What's happening there?
Look, Colby needs to stop running. That's the truth. I feel like Colby's running. He doesn't want to say yes, and he's going to make any excuse he possibly can. That's the truth.
It's been a lot of coming and going in social media, but have you actually have an offer? Have you actually have a contract from the UFC to fight there against Colby?
Yes, there's been offers. He hasn't said yes. All we're waiting on is Colby to say yes, and that's it. Then everything get finalized. But I fully believe that Colby is going to run, and he's not going to fight this fight. I feel like he's going to take every opportunity he can to run away from me.
Top comments. Ursac's corner cost him that fight. Saying you're down 3-1 when the fight was more like 2-2 had Usyk scrambling and panicking in the fifth. What is controversial about this score? Rounds 1, 3, and 5 to Pantoja. Round 2 was the closest of the 5 rounds, and 4 is obviously Usyk. I had Usyk winning. I saw some questionable things on this card. The 49-46 Pantoja and the stoppage on a leg injury were both questionable. Not a robbery. Pantoja won that clear as day. Usyk has no KO power and had no sense of urgency.